So we've all been through hard times in life, right? We've all been through circumstances where it feels like we wanted to pull out all of our hair. We've all been through circumstances where it felt like there was no way out. We've all been through circumstances where it felt that like, there's no end to it. And if we haven't, maybe you're going through it right now. And I just wanted to share with you guys a few things that have worked for me, a few mindsets, a few things that have worked for me in the seasons where I have been going through, life storms, because life has its ups and downs. Let's be real. There's ups and downs in life. Nothing's ever, again, linear. But how do we overcome those times of downs and get back up even stronger? So here's just a few things. Number one is to trust in God's process. God is the ultimate creator, the great I am. Like, you might not understand what's happening right now. You might not understand why it is that you're going through what you're going through right now, but he does. And that alone gives me peace. It gives me peace knowing that the great I am is the one that is writing my story. And my story doesn't necessarily end at the circumstance, the situation that I'm going through now. Although I can't see it, I cannot perceive it, I trust and believe that I have to keep reminding myself that I trust and believe, that, hey, it's not the ending. It's just the beginning from our other version, from our other video, right? It's not the ending of me. It's the beginning of me. Even though my circumstance, my situation wants to tell me the opposite, it's the complete opposite of that, actually. So it's not the ending of me, it's the beginning of me. Trust in God's process. I feel like a person that we can definitely use that helps us out when it comes to trusting in God's process is Joseph. Joseph in the Bible, he was sold off into slavery and by his own brothers. And at that time, I can imagine that he didn't perceive that he would ever see his beloved father. He didn't perceive that he would ever see his homeland or anything like that. But in the end, he ends up being the one that saves his family due to the famine that was all over the land. And what he told his brothers in the end was, you guys meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And I think that's a prime example of trusting God's process. Job, on the other hand, Satan stripped him of everything that he had, of his children, of his farm animals, of even his dignity. And in the end, God gave him back double what was stolen from him, including his children. His children was the most beautiful of the land. Like, how is it that one person can go through all of this, but yet God's process makes it turn out beautiful in the end? I think that's amazing. So yes, number one is trust in God's process. Number two is to meditate on God's word. Why? Because there's stories like the two that I just mentioned. There's an abundance of the two stories that I just mentioned in the Bible. And if anything, it begins to change your mindset. It begins to let you know that, yes, indeed, God is writing my story, that this is definitely not the ending. Although it feels like it's the ending, it's definitely not the ending. So yeah, that's why number two is meditating on God's word, because it begins to change your mindset. It begins to change how you think about things. It begins to change how you understand the ups and downs of life. It begins to let you know that, hey, God is in this story. I think there's a song that goes, God is in the story, God is in the details, something like that. And it's completely true. God is definitely in the story of brokenness, in the story of broken hearts, in the story of mistreatments, in the story of abuse. He is in the story. He's writing it, and it's going to come out even more beautiful in the end. Number three is get 1 to 2 close friends that you can actually rely on. I think there's a verse that says a friend sticks closer than a brother in time of trials. Sometimes, blood is great, and there are people who have family who they can rely on, who, they can come to at like a moment's notice, and the person is there for them. And if you have that, use the people that the Lord has placed in your life. They're in your life for a reason. So why not use them? But if you don't, try, try to have at least 1 to 2 close friends, because you never know in life. So yeah, sometimes it can happen that life throws you for so much of a punch that you need someone to talk to. You need someone to vent to. You need someone to let you know after you vent to them that everything's going to be okay. You need that companionship. You need to know that someone's on your side besides yourself. So it's very important to get yourself at least 1 to 2 close friends that you feel that you can rely on. Don't be gullible. Use the spirit of discernment. Pray and ask God. If you don't have those people around you, pray and ask God to send you those people, or to place you at the right place at the right time in order to encounter those people, because they are out there, they exist. But you have to open your heart up if you've been hurt before, and pray to God for you to find those people, because they are out there, and they're willing to help you. They're willing to be, at least if they can't offer any help, to be a listening ear. That's very important when you're going through a storm. And then number 4 is to cry out to God. Yes, we have those friends, but what's most important is to cry out to God. And when I say cry out, I don't just mean prayer now. Now we're going to talk about prayer a little bit later. But crying out to God as in pour out all of your emotions to him. Let him know how you're feeling. Let him know, Lord, this is what happened and this is how it makes me feel. Lord, I was betrayed by such and such person. This is what they did to me. This is how it made me feel. Lord, I'm going through this financial hurdle, this financial burden. Lord, I can't pay my bills. This is how I'm feeling. Cry out to God. Let out all of your emotions. Scream if you have to. Keep a box of tissues next to you and just cry out all of those emotions, all of those pains. Just let it out. Don't keep it in. And who best to tell it to than God? There are things that even though, you have your friends there, maybe you won't feel too comfortable telling them absolutely everything. But guess who you'll be most comfortable with in telling them everything? God. There's no judgment there. There's no criticism. He's already seen, he knows. But it helps you in a sense where after, let's say you're done with your session of crying out to God, you'll tend to come out feeling lighter, feeling like a burden has been lifted from off of your shoulders. Definitely try it out, Number 5 is to listen to testimonies. There are thousands, if not endless, testimonies out there. May it be on podcasts, may it be on YouTube, may it be from, maybe your neighbor down the street. Listen to testimonies. There are billions upon billions of people in the world. Trust me, you're not the first one to be going through your problem. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of testimonies out there. Find one that you can relate to and listen to it. Listen to it, And if you actually find one that relates directly to what you're going through, listen to it and listen to it and listen to it again. Maybe the light at the end of your tunnel will look different than theirs, but definitely there will be a light. And that's what the testimonies help you. It helps to change your mindset of thinking, woe me, not woe me, but yes me, but in the end, it will be yay me. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? It kind of rewires your brain to know that, yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't end here. It doesn't have to end here, and it does not end here. So definitely take the time out to listen to testimonies, and you can do it. If you don't have time, some people say maybe I don't have time. You can listen to it while you're getting dressed. You can listen to it while you're driving. You can listen to it maybe while you're showering even. There's no limits on when or how you can actually make the time to listen to these testimonies. Number 6 is to spend time doing what you love. Oftentimes when we're going through life, we tend to give up on a lot of the things that brings us joy. Maybe it's a nature hike. Maybe it's spending time with our loved ones. Maybe it's reading even. We oftentimes put it on the back burner and say, hey, when things pick up again, I'll get started on on this thing that I love, this habit, this what do you call it? This pastime, this hobby. I'll get started on it again. But hey, it brings you joy. Why did you stop it in the first place? You know? And oftentimes once we start that hobby back up, once we, maybe we start spending time with friends, maybe we start going window shopping again, we'll find that, okay, it's actually helping me through this process. I'm not solely focused on what I'm going through. I'm not solely focused on the circumstance, but I can imagine myself getting out of this circumstance just by the little small joy that this one thing that I love brings me. So definitely take a look at your calendar and see how you can fit in, how you can squeeze in that shopping time or that window shopping time. If like maybe you're low on funds, with friends or by yourself, or that movie time, or even if you have to wake up earlier than everybody else in the house just to get it done. Try to find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So try to find a way. Try to find a way to do it. You can. You can make time for the things that you love. Even though you're going through a hard time right now, you can make time for the things that you love. And if budget is the problem, try to find new hobbies, new free hobbies. Maybe just watching the sunrise or the sunset. That's absolutely free. Sometimes you may have to pay for parking. Look for a beach park that you don't have to pay for parking. There's options out there, but just doing that alone help us again to not solely focus on the problem or the situation that we're facing. Number 7 is patience. I know, right? Patience is pivotal at absolutely all times and in all situations and circumstances. It helps us to know that, okay, just have a little bit more patience. This thing here, again, it brings us back to how nothing lasts forever. Absolutely nothing in life lasts forever. There is a light again at the end of the tunnel. Just have a little bit more patience. Wait a little bit longer. Keep your hand in the game just for a little bit longer. Just for a little bit longer. Even if that circumstance lasts for a year, 2 years, trust and believe that there will be one day that you're not in that circumstance, that it will just be a story that you tell. You'll probably look back on it and laugh at certain things that happen at that particular point in time. It will be a testimony that you tell. And then right after patience is prayer. Prayer is very critical during these stages of life that we go through. Simply because, guys, what man can do, what you can't do, God can. We already know that there's power in crying out to God in prayer. There's power in letting it all out to him. Yet, there is lots of power also in praying to him. And in taking the time out, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, however the amount that you can take out, that you feel like you have the time and the freedom to take that time out and speak to him in prayer about your situation. You already cried out. Speak to him. Let him know this is what's going on. It's kind of redundant because you've already cried out, but crying out, I would say, is more like letting all of the emotions out, letting it all out, crying out, screaming out, letting everything that you're going through just stream out. And in prayer is seeking him in supplication for your situation, seeking him outright for your circumstance, praying so that those things can change. Which brings us to prophetic declarations. Prophetic declarations are very important during the storms of life because it aids you. It's almost like it's the driving force, in a sense, behind you getting out of your circumstance, getting out of your situation. And no, you do not have to be a prophet in order to do prophetic declarations. The words that come out of your mouth are still powerful. They're still potent enough to change your life. Let's say I'm going through a financial hurdle. a financial circumstance that has me down in the dumps where I'm not able to touch anything. I'm not able to do absolutely anything. If indeed that is the circumstance, I can do prophetic declarations over myself. I can use that verse that says, my God will restore to me the years that the locusts have swallowed. I can boldly state that I am no longer in debt, but I am debt free. I am a kingdom financier. I am able to help those who are in debt to get out of debt. Like, those are like some simple, small little prophetic that they're small, but they're big. And little by little, you'll start seeing changes. You'll start seeing changes. You'll start seeing changes. But once you see those small changes, like let's say I wasn't expecting a check and it just deposited into my bank account. This is random. Or let's say someone was holding up a check and it finally got released. I still continue to do those prophetic declarations because I don't want to give up just because I see the sight of the sunlight. It's too soon. Until I get to where I'm getting, and even afterwards, I would say, I am doing those prophetic declarations. So that's number 9. Number 10 is to focus on the positives. Yes, when you're going through something, it can be so easy to focus on just all of the negative that keeps happening, the negative circumstance that you're in, how everything's not going right for you. But what about the things that are going right for you? What about the air in your lungs? What about your health that's going good right now? What about your finances that's going good right now? What about your marriage that's going good right now? What about your children that's going good right now? If one thing's not working, let's say this. If one aspect of your life is not working, maybe the other aspect of your life is working. Let's focus on that one aspect and let's be grateful and thankful for it. So, and let's say we don't have nothing. Sometimes, hey, that storm comes in like Job. Nothing is working. When circumstances happen in life, there's nothing that's working out, but we still have breath in our lungs. We still have the air that we breathe. And that alone is something to be grateful and thankful for, because there are people who use machines in order to breathe right. There are people who can't take not even one breath by themselves. So that alone is something to be thankful for. So find the things, although you're going through this storm, find the things, the positive things that are going right in your life and be grateful and thankful for them. After focusing on the positives, we have watching motivational speakers. And what this does is generally the same thing that everything else does, is change and rewire your brain, rewire your thinking. Watching motivational speakers helps you in knowing, hey, I can overcome this. Yes, indeed, I am an overcomer. I am not a victim of my circumstances. And I can and will do this, basically. It helps you in rewiring your brain. With motivational speakers, oftentimes they have different techniques. They have tried and true methods that they share throughout their motivational speeches that you can try and see what works for you. Those are just a few ways in which we can remain calm in the middle of the storm. And if we actually go ahead and take a look back at them, most of them, if not all, are all about mindset shifts, about changing ourselves from a victim mindset to an overcomer mindset. And so I hope all of those come in handy. Let me know if you end up trying out any of them, if not all of them, and what the end result is for you. If there is actually a mindset shift, what change do you experience in your mind or in your actual life by trying those things out? To leave you guys, I'm going to leave you, of course, with a meditative verse. You can meditate on it throughout the day, throughout the week, however the Lord leads you to do so. And it's Psalms 119, verse 28. It says, my soul is weary with sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. It's a prayer by itself, right? It says, my soul is weary with sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. Thank you for watching Deep Renew, your hub for practical tips about life, God, and productivity. May you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God bless, guys.